Hi everybody. I want to do a special video today because the last time I was at my pharmacy, they had a sign posted outside the window, and it said on June 18th, which is today, they were going to give out free Narcan nasal spray for people. And I took a screenshot of it, and I made sure I went up today to pick up my package of free Narcan. Sadly, it is such a widespread epidemic. We are losing thousands of people all the time. I have 3 friends of mine who lost their children to a heroin overdose in the last 3 years. They were 20, 21, 22 years old. There have been other reported deaths unrelated to me that I heard about. More recently, there were 2 brothers that had both overdosed on the same day. And I can't imagine what those parents are going through right now. I have other friends who've lost their children, but not due to Narcan. One old friend, she lost her son the day after Thanksgiving. He passed away on their floor. It was an overdose of different medications. Not that he was trying to overdose. He was having some issues and couldn't sleep for 3 days. And he wound up taking some of his meds, but then dipped into his mother's medication. And the whole combination wound up killing him. I did see the report. And it labeled the medications that they found in his autopsy. And, but they ruled it an accidental overdose. And she's been grieving for, a couple years over this. But this is a widespread epidemic everywhere. It's not just for teenagers and 20-year-olds. There are people all the way up into their 60s overdosing. So I do not have any illegal type of drug problem. The guy did ask me at the pharmacy. He has to ask several questions. Mine is ShopRite Pharmacy. There are several pharmacies that are doing this. I believe Rite Aid is another one, but if your pharmacy participates in this, I urge you to go there today. I don't know how long they're going to last. It's as many as they carry. But I went there this afternoon and picked this up. But I urge you to go there and get this kit. Because you may be in smoke. You may be in the right spot at the right time with this in your position and save somebody's life. I'm not going to open it. It does expire January of 2021, so I do have time. You are not to store this in your car because it will tamper with the ingredients in it and will not make it work. I asked these questions. So you want it in your house. You want it in a stable environment. You don't want it heating up in your car, sitting in your car. It's 100, degrees boiling up in your car. It's going to ruin it. It comes with, it's a 2-pack, and it comes with 2 4-milligram doses of the Narcan. So you pop it out, you rip it out of the bag, you stick your finger like this, one under the controller, the 2 fingers over the knob. You stick it in somebody's nose and you push it fast. I was a CNA for many years. Never had to use this. My patients weren't really these, you know, drug addicts or whatever. I had patients released from the hospital for all different reasons, or people who needed help with ADLs. But I've seen enough in my time. Nowadays, you know, the police carry them. A lot of the paramedics, just, you know, I don't know if schools carry them, but if not, the nurse's office, they should have these. But I'm making this video to let you guys know that today only, your pharmacies, not all of them, call them up and ask them if they have the free Narcan. If they do, get your butt over there and get this box. You only get one. Get this box. They ask you a couple questions. Simple. You answer it. Okay? One, if you're in the medical field, you cannot get this. Okay? Then they asked if you known to have any allergies. They're thinking maybe it could be pertaining to you. The way I look at this, guys, is I'm going to go places with this box when I go out, and I'm going to have it in my car, you know, for the day, or I'll throw it in my purse. And if I come across somebody who's in need, I'm going to whip it out. I'm going to use it on them. Okay? And immediately call 911 while I'm doing this. I'll call 911, and I'm going to say, you know, we have an overdose going on, and I'm activating the Narcan. Okay? This is what you're supposed to do. They gave me inside the bag paperwork, which I already read up on. I took screenshots, and I'm going to enter them here at the end of the video. This is for Addiction Helpline. If you or anybody you know is an addict, it doesn't have to be heroin. It could be cocaine, crack. I don't even know what's out there. Acid, shrooms. I don't know, guys. There's a lot of different things out here. The scariest thing, and one thing that has happened up my way in New Jersey, is that, and which was the cause of one of my friend's son's death, which was a friend of my daughter. She knew a couple of them that passed away, is that these people were mixing the heroin with rat poison and other things, and it killed them immediately. You don't know what you're getting in these drugs. So if any of you are doing drugs, you're risking your life every time you insert that needle, or you snort, or you stick it in your mouth and rub it on your teeth. I've never touched an illegal drug, including marijuana, in my life. I never even took a drag. I know a lot of people who do weed. I don't care. I prefer myself not to be around it. I don't like the smell. I don't know what the high feeling is because I've never been high. I've been on medication that made me feel high after my major surgeries, especially my back surgery, which was the worst. If you guys saw my last video relating to the ambulation I just had, you will see that huge scar. That was about 7 to 8 inches of the scar just on my lower back. The rest cut was down inside. I wasn't showing that. Okay? I did put a warning graphic because some people don't want to see it. And of course I put the note, this isn't my butt. I made sure how I positioned the camera and hid my clothes that you were not going to see crack. Though I do joke and say, I have the biggest crack on earth, because it literally goes from the crack all the way up. But that was an extremely painful surgery, to where when I woke up and was wheeled into the recovery room at 5:20 p.m., I screamed like no other time have I screamed in my life, until 4 a.m. when they finally got me to my private room. Well, actually it wasn't private, there was a lady next to me, but to my room. And all I remember was screaming the whole time. And this was 2012. And I looked up at the clock, and I saw it said 4 a.m. I saw the board that had my name. I asked the nurse for my phone. She handed my cell phone. And I remember aiming it up and taking a picture of that at the time, and my information on that board. The date, my name, etc. And then I passed out. And I woke up 2 days later. Pain hit right again. And they were waking me up saying, ma'am, you have to pick a rehab center to go to. I was so oblivious. I was so out of it. But they had given me Oxycontin. While I was in recovery, they gave me the normal morphine. I've had 8 surgeries. 8 major surgeries. 8 big surgeries. A couple major surgeries. But then I throw in, I had my wisdom teeth done at 19. That was my very first surgery. But they had to knock me out. And that was intense. You know what I mean? But that is surgery. But I have had 8 big surgeries. And I've had many mini surgeries. Okay? And those are all the injections and teeth extractions and all. They're all considered a surgery. They're a minor surgery. They are same-day procedures. They're same-day surgeries. So if you want to add all of them in, I'm over 20. But when people ask me how many surgeries have you had, I say 8. My back being the worst. So they had me on morphine when I woke up from that surgery. I screamed bloody murder. I hit that clicker so many times, and I'm sure people can relate to me with your surgeries. You're hitting that darn thing, please, dear God. It didn't work. So they finally gave me a shot of Demerol. Dilaudid. This didn't work. I screamed the whole time. They said there was nothing they can do. They couldn't give me anything else. I remember a gentleman laying to the left of me, and I remember him crying and screaming. And for me to hear this for hours, him crying and screaming, we had the sheet next to us, and it was pulled back to where I could see his torso and legs, and he can see my part, but we couldn't see her face. And I remember saying to him, what did you have done? And he said, I had my legs operated on. And I said, oh, I had my lower back operated on. And out reached a hand. And I took my hand and I held on to his hand. And we both screamed as loud as we could because the pain meds were not working for us. And then we let go. We blessed each other. And we continued to scream. I finally left at 4 a.m. Or just about 4 a.m. It was like 3:50. They wheeled me out 4 a.m. I got into my room. I left him behind. And I wished him good luck. And fell asleep. I went into shock. This never happened before. I went into shock and woke up 2 days later. They put me on oxycodone and Percocet. I never had oxycodone in my life. I've had Percocet every time after the surgeries, including the teeth. And when they kicked in, I finally felt relief. It's like, oh dear God. The oxycodone and the Percocets together beat out the morphine and the Dilaudid or whatever it's called. So that was crazy. But I remember when I finally got to the rehab center, they would continue the process of oxycodone and Percocets every 4 hours. I would go right into physical therapy. And I go into physical therapy in massive agony. Crying, always crying. My face was so swollen when I woke up. Because when I was in the OR room, I was laying flat on the bed with my face down. So all the blood had rushed to my face. And I remember in the rehab centers when I started taking pictures and I wanted to see what my face looked like because they told me my face was very swollen. And it was. And then eventually I was finally feeling less pain, and I asked the nurse if she would mind taking a picture of my wound because I don't know what it looks like. I was told it was going to be a 4-inch incision. And I told her it doesn't feel 4 inches. So she took my camera and she took a couple photos and then she showed it to me and I said, oh my God. Ooh. I said, can you measure that? She got out her little measuring tape. They were an amazing group down there. God bless them. JFK Rehabilitation Center. Love you guys, man. They were good. The whole crew. The whole crew. Nurses, doctors, and my whole rehab staff. She took out her little measuring tape. She went from 1 all the way down. And she said, Tammy, it's 9 inches long. And I'm like, but he said 4. But he did work on 3. He was supposed to do L3, 4, 5, and 6. He left out 3 because he said it wasn't that bad as he thought. So we did 4, 5, and 6. But I felt that high. Not a huge high. But I felt pain-free. And I felt that slight high. And I just remember I was drooling a lot. So if that's what you consider a high, then I got high a couple times off of my medication. But when I came home from hospitals, I was in rehab 2 weeks. So when I came home, I had like a whole month's supply of that medication. And I took it sparingly when I needed it. Not every 4 hours like they had me in the hospital because it started to ease up a little bit. But for 3 months, I was in a back brace, a walker, and everything. It was horrible. For a couple weeks, I couldn't get up my stairs. So I stayed downstairs on the couch where the big TV was, and my nurses came and helped take care of me. You know, and my home health aides. So God bless them. But I never became addicted. Many people become addicted to oxycodone being the number 1. At least for here. So I never got addicted to the oxycodone, Percocets, Vicodin. Never got it. Never. But sadly, I know people who are. And my daughter contacted me the other day. And she told me she ran into my friend's daughter who had needle marks, scabbed needle marks, and she was kind of tripping out. She went into her work and she didn't know what to do for her. She immediately wrote me. It was midnight. She was all upset, all scared. She doesn't know what to do with her. I told her, look, an addict is an addict. You can say all you want to them, and they ain't gonna do anything. I'm sure many of you guys have tried to speak to addicts. If you are one, you just rub it off when you hit rock bottom. That's usually when you may say, enough is enough, I gotta do something. But it's sad and breaks my heart that I have to carry this around to save one of you, to save one of your loved ones, to save a friend, to save a family member. But this is what I'm going to do. And I hope that they do this often at these pharmacies and give these out to people. So just in case we were in the right spot at the right time and that we could administer this and save the life of somebody else. You pull it out, you rip it open, thumb on the little press device. I don't think it shows it here now. And then stick it in one nostril, stick it right up and squeeze as hard as you can and inject that in to them. And that should snap them out of it. But if they don't come around within 2-3 times, take the other one out, rip it off, inject it into the opposite nose as fast as you can. But make sure that this person is, to the best of your ability, okay, having a problem, having a possible overdose. If you clearly see track marks, a needle in their arm, one, don't pull the needle out. I don't think that's a smart idea. You could do more damage, okay? Leave the damn needle in. Let the paramedics take care of that. Get the Narcan up their nose, okay? But this little list right here, which I screenshot for you guys, they give you this book, okay? And I screenshot this part right here. And it says, know the signs of an opioid emergency. The following signs and symptoms may indicate an opioid overdose emergency. Is a person unusually sleepiness or not able to waken? Breathing will be slow or absent. There's slow heartbeat or low blood pressure. Skin feels cold and clammy. Their pupils are tiny. The black pupils, very tiny. My one daughter's friend is a big-time weed smoker, and every time I see him, his pupils are blown out, and he's all glossy in the eye. It drives me nuts. And then your nails or lips could be blue. So it is important to recognize an overdose. If there's people around, ask them. Could this be an overdose? Is he on heroin, crack, cocaine, whatever? Just, you don't have to go with deal. Could this be an overdose? I asked if they could be on other types of drugs and would this work? What if somebody took 50 sleeping pills? What if somebody took their whole stash of 20, 30 medications and they sucked them all down? Try it. Give it to them. This fights the strongest stuff. Okay, you see this right here? This is the bottle that you get. The box with 2 little bottles in it. But just remember, after the first dose, it says to wait 2 to 3 minutes. And if they don't wake up fully, if they don't wake up, they don't start moving around, they don't talk to you, if they're completely out of it, hit the other dose. But remember, turn them on their side. So you want them laying there. You want to get a hold of their neck. Okay, so just position their neck. And then you want to stick it fast in their nose and press. Okay? Turn them over. Get their body. Just turn them over a little bit in case they vomit. Lay them back down after, like 2 minutes if they're still not moving. Inject the next Narcan into the other nose. Flip them over on their side in case they vomit. Okay, but meanwhile, as soon as you know you have an overdose situation in your hands, you get on that phone and you call 911 and you say you believe there's a possible overdose going on and you are administering Narcan. Give them the address, location where they're at. They will get there right away. That could be the decision between life and death. So I thank you guys for taking the time out and watching this video. This comes personally to me because unfortunately I have some family members, some cousins in another state far away who have serious drug problems. And I have seen too many of my friends' children die. And I have watched needless amounts of other ones passing away at such young ages. They're teenagers and they're all in their early 20s. I just read about the ones that are older, but my cousins are older. We're talking in their 50s to 60s here, and they have serious drug problems. Some of them have drinking problems. I'm grateful that none of my immediate family, none of my children do this crap, but this is an addiction. Like us smoking, drinking our coffee, whatever. But this could save someone's life. Try to get it. God bless everyone. Thanks for watching.